Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Justin slash Asian Truck Man here. Just want to do a quick video this morning and tell you guys why I leased my what would be a 2017 Dodge Charger RT. And just kind of want to go over some of the details. I've seen a lot of the guys out here have a bunch of questions about it. And I wanted to clarify a couple of you guys that are looking at the SXTs that are a little bit younger than myself and are looking at higher insurance rates. So first off, we'll just start off right there at the SXT Chargers and leasing those. Really, I think for a lot of you guys, and just from the comments, you guys, I can tell you guys definitely want the Hemi car. And without being rude, I'm not going to ask you guys what your ages are or anything like that. But leasing is good whenever, in my opinion, and you got to negotiate them. Leasing is typically good whenever you want to get another car 3 years down the road. And so, for a lot of you guys that are a little bit younger than myself, that might have high insurance rates, or you're on the verge of either A, getting married, or B, on the verge of, say, turning 25 and getting a lower insurance rate, and you really want that Hemi car, but you need a car now, I suggest leasing the SXT for 3 years. The car itself is overall the same. Obviously, it's not going to have the same kind of power, but you can still get the cool wheels on it and everything. And then in 3 years, you can turn it in, no questions asked. You didn't buy the car, so you don't have to worry about being upside down in it, which is very, very common these days. And then B, the car is under warranty the entire time that you got it. And C, you can negotiate a lease. Whenever I looked at my Dodge Charger and sat down at Hendrick Chrysler Dodge, they initially hit me with $457 a month with $1,000 down. And what a lot of guys that are new to leasing and have think leasing's awful, it's actually really good. It's a tool that you can use to get into the car that you want. And I'll kind of talk to you guys also about what my intentions are with my next car, or even with this car if I decide to keep it. So just kind of like an example right here, this is just a 2018 Dodge Charger RT. And another question I get asked is, why do I buy new cars? And guys, sometimes I want you to look at all the discounts that are on this car. A lot of people get hung up on how much the sticker price is, which the sticker price is $38,525. But look at all the incentives that come off the price of this car. Okay? I can't. I'm doing quick math here, and it looks like they're going to come off $7,000 off the price of that car. Add a dealer fee, and then add whatever sales taxes that you have, and that's not a bad deal on that car. You're probably looking at, I would call it $33,000 out the door for that car, 32, 33. And that's if you're not in the military program, or you're not a returning lessee. I mean, so this is another reason that I lease my cars, right? So typically, if you lease a car, and say for example you're leasing a Dodge and you return and you want another Dodge, they're going to give you a little bit extra money on top of that, whether you're buying the V8 car or you decide to lease another one. And so I guess just to touch back on that, guys, what it allows you to do also is it also allows you to have a lower monthly payment. And I'd say that 75% of the people out there, I'd probably even say it's higher than that, are not going to be able to go pay cash for a lease or cash for a car in general. So you're like the rest of America, and you're probably going to end up having a car note on this thing. So what this allows you to do is it allows you to pay on the car. You're paying the depreciation. People always say leases are horrible, and leases really get a bad rap from the 80s. So back in the 80s, leases used to be really bad because they didn't have a set buyout at the end of it. So like the buyout on my car is $18,000 at the end of the lease. Now when I turn my car in, if it's worth more than $18,000, I can choose to buy it and sell it and get the profit out of it, or I can just turn it back into Dodge and not worry about it. And then what used to happen in the 80s is if the buyout was, say, $18,000 at the end of the lease, but the car is only worth 16, the dealerships would make you pay the $2,000 difference. And that's really where leases got the notion of having a bad rap. They're not really worth it, because whether you buy a car brand new, used, what have you, unless you're buying classic Ferraris or something like that, you are going to pay the depreciation one way or another. One way or another, you're going to pay the depreciation. Okay, and so the good part, what I like about leasing is I use it for work. And literally, my car, it goes down the highway. We go get dinner in it every now and then. And then usually 3 to 4 days out of the week, it sits at the airport. So leasing makes a lot of sense for me. And I think leasing makes a lot of sense for you younger guys, but you have to be cognizant of the mileage that you put on the car also. But if you have every intention of going in and trading it in for another Dodge, lots of times you can negotiate that to the deal if the car's over on the mileage, as long as it's not crazy over the mileage. Hey, I'll lease another car from you, or I'll buy another car from you if you forget about the mileage overage. For me, I'm not worried about the mileage, because I actually really love the car. So if one or two things is going to happen whenever I get rid of my car, I am either going to buy it, or there are some crazy deals on Hellcats right now. I was on the forum the other day, and it was a crazy deal. I don't know if my dealer can mimic that or get us close, but it was like something stupid, like $1,000 down, 10,000 miles a year, which that's fine for me, but a lot of you guys might need 12 or 15,000 miles a year, and then $550 a month. And the reason I lease a Hellcat is because it's a performance car. And guys, I don't know if any of you have ever owned the cars that are pre-owned performance cars, but they're called performance cars for a reason. And that's usually because someone gets it and it's balls to the walls, man. It's wide open. I mean, I can tell you with my car that I got out sitting there right outside right now, every chance I get to lay that thing open, I do it, man. And I'm not a reckless driver, but it's just fun. That's what you buy the car for, so you can enjoy it. And typically after 3 years of doing that, I mean, you're probably not going to want the car anyways, and then they'll probably be out with, I don't know, some Hellcat Super Triton Demon Devil thing that's got like 1,200 horsepower and beyond the bigger and better things. But that's me. I don't mind keeping cars like that. And guys, I've done the car modification thing too. I love modifying cars. I got a Bronco that'll probably never ever run again because it's just a money pit. But I enjoy every second of it, getting the wrench on it. But there's something to be said for something that I could take to the airport that is under warranty, that I can turn in after 3 years and wash my hands of it. Okay, so I mean the real risk you run is whenever you buy a car, pay it like buying, not leasing, is that say you pay $32,000 for this car, just rough estimate, and then 3 years the trade-in value is, I don't know, just and don't quote me on this, we'll just say it's $15,000, but you owe $20,000 on it. You got to eat that $5,000 to come out of the car, one way or another, whether you stack it on top of your next car, or you basically buy yourself out of that car. With a lease, you can, if the car's worth $15,000, your lease buyout's $18,000, you turn it in. That's on the finance company. They take care of it. You're off in another car. You don't have to worry about the negative equity. And for myself, negative equity is a big thing. I've taken a negative equity hit on a Range Rover I traded in one time. And I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty brutal. And I pretty much told myself that I trade cars so much that I'm not doing that again. And some people are like, well, that's stupid, you're throwing away money. You're throwing away money even if you're buying a car, or buying or leasing, you're throwing away money. But if you like to be in new cars every 3 years and have the latest technology, the latest performance, and there's tons of forums on this out there, leasing is the way to go. It's no questions asked. Some people like to go to the movies. I think that's a waste of money sometimes. But to me, like, the cars are my movies. And so in 3 years, what I'm going to end up doing with mine is, the lease buyout is $18,000 on mine, and I've taken a look at 3-year-old Charger RTs, and there's not many of them that are that are less than $18,000. Most of them are in that $20,000 to $22,000 range. So what I may do is I may buy it if the dealership won't negotiate with me on it, and I might sell it, and that would be what would happen if I've got $2,000 to $4,000 topside in it. Buy it and I'll sell it, and I'll be like, well, Dodge, you're just gonna have to wait until I can come back and get another car once this one sells, unless they want to do some type of negotiating with me. But looking at a couple of different things, I'm always looking at cars. I mean, I'd love to have a Hellcat or maybe a 392. I really don't drive that much, so I could probably justify it. Now, if it was an everyday driver, I'd probably opt out of the Hellcat. I just think it's a little too much to drive every day. But I'm looking at some BMWs, and I might look at a Benz for the next car. I love V8 rear-wheel drive sedans, and honestly, if the price is right on it, and another thing you can always do with a lease buy is you can always call the leasing company and be like, hey, you want to sell it to me for less than that also, and negotiate that as well. So I mean, I might could call up Chrysler Cap and be like, hey, I'll give you 16 grand for it, and they might take it. And in that case, I would buy the car, and then I'd probably take it and I'd resell it. So guys, don't be scared of leasing. The biggest thing that you're going to be concerned about is the mileage. And then whenever you're negotiating, you guys need to watch some videos on the money factor. So the money factor in a lease is what your interest rate's going to be. And so I don't know the exact calculation on it. I ran a calculation on mine. Mine is almost 0%. So the guy was actually surprised I knew what that was. But you really got to educate yourself on negotiating a lease before you go in there, because it's the money factor, and then you can actually take these incentives, apply it to this price, and then they can take that and apply it to the lease also. And then also make sure that the company, if you work for a big corporate 500 company, make sure that they have a lease program or a vehicle program set up with one of the big car manufacturers. Like for mine, they had an additional $1,000 off because at the time I was working with Stanley Black & Decker. And then, I guess what I'm trying to get at, guys, is if you're in the V6 car right now, that's perfectly fine. I've bought cars before that, like, for example, like my wife's got that Lexus GX460, but, she was driving a leased Volkswagen Jetta until essentially she could save up the money and I could pay off my student loan, which I'll make another video about that. And now, we made the sacrifice for a couple of years, just kind of like you guys might drive a V6 for years, and there's nothing wrong with that until you can get that Hellcat or that 392. And that's that extra savings every month and the extra savings on the insurance is going to allow you to be able to save some extra money to put down on that car, whether you're going to buy it, you're going to lease it. And that's one of the reasons that I lease. Leasing to me is not scary once you do it. It's really not that bad. Keeps you in a car. Make sure that it's under warranty. No negative equity. You can change them out every 3 years. And sometimes they even call you at 2 years and 6 months, like, hey, we need some used cars in a lot. You want to come trade that thing in? Or you want to turn the lease in early? And absolutely. So guys, I just want to make a quick video on this. And then, on the reverse side also, there's nothing wrong with buying a car. If you absolutely love the car and you keep your cars for forever, that's really probably the best way to get your use and make some money on them. By all means, have at it. And like my wife's car, we bought her car. Like, if we know we're going to keep it, we'll buy them. But, with a new model and stuff like that, it also allows you the chance to see if the car is going to be reliable or not. Nothing like buying a new car and having it be a lemon. And so I can put up with anything for 3 years, but if I'm upside down in it in 3 years and I still can't get out of it and it's a lemon, you're getting hit double side. Cars in the shop all the time, you're upside down in it, and you're in it for the long haul. So, I mean, typically most cars, you're going to see if they're going to be a lemon or not in 2 or 3 years, roughly. And guys, I've owned over 30 cars, and honestly, I would have no hesitations about buying a Charger or buying the Charger that I currently have. It's been pretty good so far. But just know that, it, and I say this again, it is a Chrysler, so just buyer beware. But guys, I hope you guys all have a good rest of the day, and I just want to make this video for you. If you have any questions or anything about my lease or how I bought this car, how I negotiated, feel free to add in the comments, like, subscribe, and I'll be more than happy to answer the questions for you. I'm very transparent. So, guys, have a good rest of the day. Thanks.